Hi guys, this is Ken from Tech Open back again with another video, and this time to show you my new toy, the Xiaomi Fimi X8 4K drone. So this is actually kind of a competitor, a direct competitor to the Mavic Pro and to the Mavic 2 Pro, but at a fraction of the price. So this is around 1/3 or 1/4 the price of the Mavic. And as I predicted, the box is a little bit banged up because they did not put any cushioning on around the box. It just comes with this plastic bag in the case of this supplier. So we have also the manuals. You can also download the manual from their website. I'm going to put the link there also if you want to check out the manual. If you're thinking of buying this, you want to take a look at the manuals before you get this. It feels pretty substantial in my hand. Pretty weighty. You can see the front of the drone right here. The gimbal is protected with this little foam thingy. It doesn't come with that little cover like the Mavic, but this is a low-cost drone. Can't expect much. You can see it here on the side. Feels pretty solid in my hand. You can see the bottom, and try and get a better shot of the motors with the lights a little shifted. You can see the power on button here. Shows you the power level of the batteries. It's at 75%, and it feels pretty well constructed. You have the remote, which is fairly large, I would say, and it's spring loaded. There's kind of a little groove here, maybe to secure your phone a little bit better, or a small tablet if you're using a small tablet here. This will not fit, for example, my iPad Pro here. It will not fit. It's too big because mine's the 10-inch iPad Pro. You can see the antennas, which can go that way or this way. You can see that the joysticks come placed in this little slot right here, kind of like what you see on the Mavic. So you just pull these out, and you attach them here. So the remote, although it's plastic, it feels well built. This is all rubber right here, so it feels kind of secure for your phone. Feels like it'll hold it, well in place. Very nice. And then you also get, for those who open the box the first time, they'll probably take out these props right here. So there's 3 props in here. I'll show you in a minute. You get these cables. So there's one for iOS, for Apple devices. You have another one which is the micro USB, the conventional one, and USB-C. So depending on what device you're going to use, you have these 3 options. It's pretty nice that they sent us this way. Couldn't be any other way because they don't know what phone you have. It comes with this cable. So they sent me the European cable since I live in Portugal. Thankfully, they did not send this with like a power adapter, like a little adapter. They sent the one that I use here in Portugal. Thank God. And they also send the little charger. And that's where you connect your little battery. And like I was saying, some people might get freaked out because they, as soon as they open the box, they don't take the drone out right away. They'll just see these 3 props. The other 3, they always send the drone shipped with the props under the drone. I don't know why they do that, but that's how they ship all the drones. So that's basically it, what you have in the box. In terms of the drone itself, although it has this little front-facing plate, it looks like it has sensors, but it does not have obstacle avoidance sensors like the Mavic and the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom. It doesn't have that, or other drones that might have obstacle avoidance. There's nothing here. It's just design-wise. It looks nice. It looks like kind of like the stormtroopers from Star Wars, but it looks nice, but it should have some kind of use. It doesn't, as far as I know. So to open this, you have to open these front ones first, and then the back one, like that. And it has a little spring-loaded mechanism as well, so there's kind of a resistance here, and you can feel it kind of pop into place. You can hear that. And it feels pretty sturdy. So the front one first, and then the back one. Like that. Looks pretty nice. It feels well built, very compact, although when it opens up it looks a little bit bigger, but it's awesome. It looks really nice. And I'm going to turn it over so you can see how it looks from the bottom. And also you have these little lines here on the arms. So the gray line goes to the propellers with the gray line, so you don't mistake. The props have a certain order to be placed on the drone. You have to be careful with that. You can see these arms have no marking whatsoever. So the props with no marking go here, and the props with the markings go here. So now we're going to place the propellers. Let's just pop this out of the bag. So you can see this one has the gray line. See the little gray line right there? Gray line goes onto the arm with the gray line. And then, so this bag comes with the ones with the gray line. It folds out like this. This is plastic, some kind of polycarbonate plastic or something. I can't really tell what material this is. If it's plastic. And these, you can see, come with no marking. So there's no way you can go wrong. See this? This one has the gray lines on it, and this one doesn't. So there's no way you can mistake both of them. Very simple. In order to remove the propellers, you want to push down, turn to the right, till you reach this more like, there's like two little slots here. There's a smaller one and a larger one. The smaller one is where the propeller is locked in place. And here is where you have to turn it to release it from this wider one right here. So as soon as you turn this to the right, you can just pull this out. Because you have to pull it a little bit. And you can see it comes out. And to reattach it, you align this little prong right here to the open part, to this wider section of the hole. Let me see if I can show you. And then you push it down, all the way down. You'll actually feel this little pin coming through this hole right here. It kind of sticks out a bit. And then you want to force it all the way down to this little pin is sticking out. You turn to the left. In the case of this rotor, the other ones you have to turn to the right. The ones that are in the opposite direction. And to lock it, you pull this up. So this has to be flush with the surface of this part of the motor. Then you'll know the propeller is correctly placed. So you have to check all of them. This one, I believe, is also not quite in the right section. So these propellers turn to the right to lock, and these turn to the left. So they both have different directions of locking into place. Right here on the top, you can see the I believe this is where the GPS module is, right here on the logo. Since it has this kind of this bump, I'm guessing that it is the GPS module. And yeah, that's it. So fairly easy to understand. Here you can see the gimbal. I'm going to pull this little. Be careful with the gimbal. This is the most fragile part of the drone. You want to be extremely careful with this. So unfortunately, there's no UV filters for the Fimi X8. That's kind of the only disadvantage I see in this particular camera setup and gimbal. The camera sensor of this one I think is even better than the ones on the Mavic Pro, the previous generation. I don't believe they're better than the Mavic 2, or I'm almost positively sure it's not, but the sensor is said to be better than the one on the Mavic, the previous generation. The battery pops out like so. So you have two little latches here on each side. You squeeze them together and you pop it out. 51.3 watt hour. Battery 4500 milliamp hour. So a fairly large battery. Lay the drone down for a second and show you the charger. So this, it has this little format right there. You can see it has that little shape. This pops in like that to charge. Just plug this into the cable. Here on the bottom you can see the optical flow sensor. So it's what it uses. The drone uses this little sensor to measure the altitude. And here you can see the camera, which registers the landing mat when you're using precision landing. So it uses both these sensors for precise landing. Here you can see the grills on the bottom in more detail. And here you can see where the ventilation is made. So I guess it pulls air in through this front section right here. Air passes through this whole entire section in the inside and is expelled out these ports right here. The feet are all in rubber. These little feet are all in rubber. So you have these four feet on the bottom of this base plate, and then you have it on these legs, on these front legs as well. There are these two little rubber feet right here. And then on this side panel right here on the right side of the drone, so you have this port right here. You have the port for your memory card. This, I believe, is to transfer data to your drone. That little switch right there, I think it's a reset switch. And then this switch here on the bottom is if you want to control the drone with the Wi-Fi of your controller or of your phone. I'm not quite sure why you would want to use that, since the controller's Wi-Fi signal should be pretty much stronger than the one on your phone. I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't want to have that on your drone, but maybe it's just some kind of backup in case you have some issue with your controller. In the bottom section of the remote control, you have this little port, which is where you would charge your remote control. So if I can get this, just open this flap up. You have this. So you have this port right here to charge your controller. And this is the port where you connect the cable to connect your phone. So you connect the cable right here and then connect it to your phone. Make sure to choose the right cable. And this switch is the return to home. So every time you push that to the right, it'll return to home, the drone. The power on of the remote is done the same way that you do it on the drone, which is one press and then one long press. And it does this, keeps flashing red. Once it's connected to your drone, it might take a little, a few seconds. This will turn completely white. Then you'll know you're connected. And then on your screen, it'll show up on the top that it's connected. And this is the button for auto takeoff and auto landing. This little joystick right here, you can have some shortcuts attributed to the button. It does come predefined with some options already set up. You can redefine them in the app if you want to. The joysticks have they're actually more comfortable than the ones on the Mavic Air. I tested the ones on the controller of the Mavic Air, and these controls feel a little bit more forgiving than the ones on the Mavic Air. It has more of some play here that kind of it feels more forgiving when you're flying the drone. It doesn't feel so reactive. It kind of feels like you have a little bit of more margin for error. And I like it a lot. The remote is pretty nice. So this right button here is for photography, and this one is for starting video shooting right here. A video recording. And on these top buttons you have the right one is for exposure, and this one is to control the angle of your gimbal. The angle of the gimbal and the speed in which it moves, you can adjust that. You can have it more or less reactive as well. So in order to power on the drone, you have to press this once and then keep your finger down. So you do it 1, 2, and then keep your finger down. And let go. So you can actually hear the fans working. The gimbal is calibrating. And one thing you have to be really careful with is to make sure that your gimbal is completely free, that it's not touching the ground. So if you're going to land this on rough surfaces, on gravel and whatnot, make sure the surface is nice and smooth. And preferably you would use something like this, which is a landing mat. I have that in another video. You can check it out. I'm going to post the this little card in the top of the video, so you can go to that video if you want to see that. So the gimbal is one of the most important parts of the drone. You want to keep this completely free, so you can see my finger barely slides under this, and you want to keep that completely safe from wreckage. That's one of the most important and most expensive parts of the drone. Another part that's also very expensive is the battery. So you want to keep the battery in good conditions. You want to keep it in a cool place, a cool, dry place, not like your refrigerator or anything like that, just somewhere where it's nice and cool. Here is a better shot of the gimbal. You can actually hear the fan. Hear that? Yeah, that's it, guys. That's practically the whole explanation of this. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is test flight. I'm going to do that in another video. I might break it into 2 sections, not quite sure yet, because it will be kind of a long video, since we're going to have to test all the intelligent modes. And I'm going to do some speed tests, some, in sport mode and everything, for you guys to have an idea of how fast this thing is. It is fast. Trust me, it's fast. And the simple fact that you pay a fraction of the price of what you pay for a Mavic, I wouldn't mind having a Mavic, of course, but the fact that you pay that fraction of the price of the Mavic is kind of a feat. The fact that it's so low cost compared to the competitors, and it's very well built, like I said. I actually showed this to some friends, and they were really impressed with the quality of this. And yeah, guys, this is pretty awesome. A really important tip as well: when you're landing this, if you have your gimbal pointing down, try to remember to always pull it back up, completely up, because even though you have your landing mat, or if you don't, when you're landing this, if you hit gravel, if this lens hits the gravel, you're ruining your lens, basically. Okay, you don't want to get the lens scratched. And it's just simple practice to make sure that before you land, don't have your gimbal pointing down. When you touch the ground, make sure you pull it up, so you keep the lens completely safe from scratches. That's super, super important. And like one guy said on a video that I watched on a review, I believe it was of the Mavic, don't even breathe on the gimbal. I thought that was pretty funny, because these are so sensitive. The gimbal is so sensitive, you want to keep it completely safe from any impact or anything that could touch it. Avoid even touching this thing. Okay, guys? I would like to take the opportunity of, now that I'm making this video, to thank all my first 290 subscribers, my first subscribers. I really appreciate your support, and for believing in the channel and actually clicking on the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. These videos are for you guys, and I really, really appreciate it. And a big thank you to all you guys. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. It will really help me out. I'm trying to hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. Still a long way to go. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. It will really help me out. I'm trying to hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. Still a long way to go. With your help, I'll get there, guys. So yeah, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and leave your comments of what you think about this drone. And I actually, showed this to some people who are more experienced in drones, and they were really surprised with the behavior of this. They were kind of blown away with it. So yeah, guys, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.